Climate alarmists were out in full force over the weekend screaming about how we're all going to die if we don't immediately ban plastic, stop eating cows, and immediately ban all fossil fuels. Now here is why no one takes them seriously. Because this has nothing to do with saving the planet. It is about government taking control of your life. And all the lemmings are buying right into it. So here's the deal. I'm a millennial. I happen to think that we could do a much better job of protecting our planet. I don't subscribe to the doom and gloom theory that we're all going to die in the next decade because the oceans are going to start boiling over. But I do have an issue when I see piles of plastic trash floating out in the Pacific. I don't use plastic whenever possible, and I think we should stop using styrofoam. I recycle more than I throw away. And I think that the free market should drive more change. But there is a reason why no one with a brain takes climate alarmists seriously. Here's a good example. Some fools over at Union Seminary in New York City photoed themselves confessing their eco-sins to plants. Plants. See, there's a major difference between wanting to find new ways to better care for the planet and literally praying to your ficus tree. Then last Friday, public schools turned hundreds of thousands of students loose into the streets to scream about climate change. Here's how that went down.
This is a fight for our lives, for our security, for all future generations to come. They want us to just sit quiet? They want us to just sit in school and learn about a future that may not exist? And we are not here to talk about our sacrifices and our doom and gloom and not existing. We are here to create! We are creating this movement every day because every day of inaction drives more action from us!
Anyone who thinks that this is helping the planet, raise your hand. Congratulations! You are a moron. See, here's the problem. This little boy has been crying wolf for an awful long time. This new generation's just the latest to buy into it. I know all the 16-year-olds who stomped through the streets last Friday don't remember any of this, but Al Gore was making crazy doomsday predictions back before you were a tadpole. And according to him, we're all supposed to be dead by now about 5 times over. Yeah. See, back in 2007, Al said that the summer sea ice in the Arctic would be entirely gone by the year 2013. It's not. In his 2006 film, An Inconvenient Truth, he predicted the seas would be risen by about 20 feet by now. They've risen about 1 to 3 millimeters a year. He claimed climate change was killing the polar bears. Their population rose by more than 50%. And it did not start with him. Harvard biologist George Wald said back in 1970 that civilization would cease to exist within 15 or 30 years. Paul Ehrlich wrote that in the 1980s, the majority of the world would be in a famine. North Texas State University professor Peter Gunter predicted that by 2000, every single country besides Europe, North America, and Australia would be starving to death. Ecologist Kenneth Watt said we'd all be in an irreversible ice age by the turn of the millennium, and that by the year 2000, we would have run out of crude oil. And those are just a few. But despite the fact that all of these crazy apocalyptic prophecies did not even come close to being true, Chicken Little is still running around screaming that the sky is falling. Last Friday, when thousands of teenagers took to the streets of the world's major cities to demand politicians act on climate change, they have been brainwashed into believing leftist politicians were all too happy to take advantage of them and use these kids as political props to try to score points. Like if we just elect them, they'll save us all from imminent doom. See, psychologists report that an increasing number of their underage patients are being put on medication to help them cope with eco-anxiety. Many people have started actual support groups to help them combat the stress of being terrified over climate change. And here's where the government swoops in. See, they know that if you're scared, you'll give them control. Control of the economy, control of energy, control of food, control of your life. These guys thrive on fear. They need you to be so scared you'll surrender your freedom and your independence to the government that promises to keep you safe. According to Andrew Yang, this means that we need to up the price of beef so that people can't afford to eat it, which will disproportionately penalize the poor. To Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, this means we have to tax everyone into poverty to rebuild every building in America, shut down our airports, and stop the cows from farting. To Bernie Sanders, it means encouraging women to abort their babies up through the 9th month of pregnancy for population control. See, for liberal politicians, climate change means destroying the free market in the name of saving the Earth. This isn't about the planet or saving our species or making sure the great coral reef stays colorful. This is about the government stepping in to run your life. And when they can't convince you to give up your freedom nicely, they use fear. And that's your Reality Check, America. Make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube page, like us on Facebook and Twitter, and stay sane out there.